Let's figure out what, in particular, is responsible for our posture, including our gait, and how this is connected to the health of the nervous system. In fact, it's all quite simple. The main structure that controls our movement, our posture, and our gait is the brainstem, which is essential for coordinating these functions. There are very important centers located in the brainstem. These include the respiratory center, the vasomotor center, and various other centers. Centers related to locomotion and movement, visual centers, and various nuclei. This is the system that controls absolutely everything. Our brainstem consists of three main parts. We won't go into detail about them right now, but it's important to note that posture, without a doubt, is also a result of a healthy brain, healthy neurons, and is also a consequence of good information that enters our nervous system. Remember that high-quality information ensures high-quality movement. Gait is also carefully and precisely controlled by our brainstem, and both the vestibular system and the visual system each play a very significant and important role in all of these complex processes. We have already done quite a large number of different exercises and activities that help to improve the overall quality of the incoming sensory information. And accordingly, in this way, we improve the outgoing information as well, and our posture and gait are precisely that outgoing information, motor information. First and foremost, of course, it is important to recognize and understand that good posture truly depends on our breathing pattern. It is very important to eliminate or remove the type of breathing that we often develop under stress, which is when we breathe using accessory muscles and use the chest first and foremost for breathing rather than primarily the diaphragm. And this is exactly what helps improve the position of the body in space. A normal and steady breathing pattern helps to stabilize and support our body in space. For walking, it is also very important that our vestibular system functions excellently, and that our proprioceptive system also provides rapid and accurate data input. And so that our brain is familiar with certain movements that we perform. We have completed the lunge matrix together. This is the foundation on which we will progress. Often our gait and posture change, including under stress. There are no special exercises for posture. We shouldn't stand against the wall all the time to train our posture. We need to reduce our stress levels. How do we reduce our stress levels? Stress is, among other things, the unknown. It's danger, it's a real threat. As we've already discussed, the more information we actually receive, for instance, the more sensory information our nervous system gets, the less stress we experience, because everything becomes more predictable for the brain. And of course, we need to learn how to effectively prevent stress, to use helpful stress management, to practice relaxation techniques, to ensure proper sleep, and to maintain a healthy diet. But now let's talk about physical activity in greater detail. In this practical section, I will introduce you to some simple and helpful techniques, as well as effective exercises to improve the mobility of our spine, to reduce tension in the thoracic region, and also to improve posture. And I will be using a resistance band as a way to make things more challenging. If you don't have a resistance band, that's perfectly fine. You can do all the exercises without it. If you do have one, great. It's a way to make things more challenging and to progress. So, we'll start with an exercise to relax the thoracic spine, especially since many of us experience discomfort between the shoulder blades. I'll show you a very simple and effective technique that will help solve this problem for you, and then we'll move on to the next step. To get rid of, or at least significantly reduce the discomfort or tension that you may feel between the shoulder blades, our task is to perform a specific head movement as follows. I gently lower my head slightly, pointing my nose downward toward the floor, bend my cervical spine carefully, and then perform a retraction, that is, moving my head backward in a controlled and deliberate manner. Notice that I don't extend it. It stays straight, as if we're reaching upward with the crown of the head. While holding this position, I feel a stretch along the back surface, from the back of the head to the shoulder blades, down to the thoracic spine. And then, without changing the position of my head and neck, I extend through the thoracic spine, imagining as if an invisible string is pulling me up toward the ceiling. I gently lift my chest and slowly direct it upward, trying to extend through the thoracic spine while keeping my neck and head completely still and steady. So, head down, neck back, and here we go, extending. You can support your ribs with one hand and place the other on your chest. If we do everything correctly, we will feel a slight stretching sensation between the shoulder blades. Do 5 to 8 repetitions and assess how your thoracic spine feels. Next, I'll show you a few simple and effective techniques. Again, if you have a resistance band, we'll use it. If not, just do the exercises without it. For posture, we will do a straightforward lengthening and stretching technique. I put the resistance band on so that it sits comfortably on one shoulder, making sure it is secure, and on the opposite leg. If you're a woman and you find that it's uncomfortable, or if it creates any pressure, you can gently hold it with one hand, just like this. Next, I'll show you from the side so you can see the movement more clearly. We tilt the pelvis back, which means we round the lower back. I bend it and keep it in that position, maintaining that rounded shape throughout the movement. Stay in this position throughout the entire exercise. The knees are slightly bent. I slowly lower myself down by gently bending my knees, keeping the pelvis and lower back completely still. I then start to straighten up, imagining that I want to grow even taller. As if I want to gently stretch my spine, pressing the crown of my head slightly toward the ceiling and moving my head away from my pelvis downward and upward. It's very important not to arch your lower back. You shouldn't be in that position, otherwise you'll lose the point of this exercise. We keep the lower back gently bent facing downward. On the inhale, we slowly rise up, and I stretch and feel the sensations. There is tension and sensation in the muscles, especially in the thoracic spine, along the length of the spine, down again, up. Exhale, inhale. Take a mindful moment to notice the subtle changes in your body as you breathe and move. If I do it without the expander, everything is the same, the sensations are the same. I also add rotation, a twist. I go down and turn to the left. And in one motion, I straighten up, down, up, down, up. I would recommend using an expander with maximum resistance. This is a great exercise for posture. There should be resistance here, including full progression. Turn up again. The same thing in the other direction. It is very important to keep the lower back stable. Once again, we do not arch the lower back. When I straighten up, for example, there should actually be absolutely no space here whatsoever. Notice the expander is pressed against my torso, to my torso. There's nothing like that. And a twist. You can switch sides. Do the same thing on the other side. You can use 2 expanders. That will also be interesting and challenging. Let's move on and we'll proceed to mobilizations of the thoracic spine. Let's do it. Similar to what we did with the neck. And I also recommend either using an expander, or if you don't have one, that's okay. The exercise can be performed either sitting or standing. In a seated position, it is generally much easier to control movement in the thoracic spine, since the lumbar region is already fixed, stable, and in a flexed position. If we're standing, then our task is, once again, to carefully flex the lumbar spine by gently moving the pelvis back, tilting the pelvis, and keeping it in that position throughout the entire duration of the exercise. The expander, I position it as follows. at the middle of my shoulder blades, holding it carefully with both of my hands. Don't use a heavy resistance band, it will be very difficult to perform. Straighten your arms, keeping your shoulders relaxed and down. My shoulder blades are currently in a protracted position, which means that they are being pushed forward in this particular posture. My lower back is also rounded. Exhale slowly and steadily through pursed lips. As I move back, that is, as I flex my thoracic spine, I exhale slowly, gently, and with control. Inhale through the nose, exhale. And I try to use my thoracic spine. Push the band back, press against it. So, I'll show you what it looks like. Inhale and exhale. It's important to perform this movement together with the cervical spine, meaning we don't keep the neck in a neutral position. It also bends. If you do this exercise without the resistance band, you can simply use your hand to gently create some pressure on the side of your rib cage. Imagine as if it's a sharp object or something uncomfortable that I want to move away from by leaning back. So take a deep inhale and then exhale slowly. Don't leave your neck in this position, it also bends. We exhale through pursed lips with effort. Now, when we move forward, I like to imagine that there is an invisible string gently pulling me up toward the ceiling. I try to lengthen the sternum, this bone right here. With the resistance band. The resistance band actually makes this exercise a bit easier, because I can really feel the specific area where the movement should happen. The resistance band applies pressure in this spot, and it's exactly this area that I use to make the movement. I can change the vector and focus my attention on mobilizing the lower part of the thoracic spine. To do this, by placing the resistance band a bit lower, I'll direct my hands slightly upward, at an angle, upward. And now I bend not in the middle of the thoracic spine but in the lower part of the thoracic spine, imagining that I'm pushing my ribs back. The same thing can be done for the upper part of the thoracic spine as well. Carefully direct your hands slightly downward and gently push your shoulders forward. And also, do this together with the cervical spine as well. The range of motion here is minimal, and that's absolutely normal. There's almost no noticeable flexion there, but it is present. After that, assess how you feel. You start to feel freedom, lightness, and we can also make our exercises more challenging. How? Primarily by shifting left and right. We've learned how to do slides forward and backward. The same shifting left and right. I imagine my hands are resting on the table, and I move along this table, to the left, to the right. Note that it's important to make the movement not in the lumbar region, that is, not in the lower back, but to try to focus your attention specifically on the thoracic region. The same thing, one way then the other, one way then the other, repeating the process alternately over and over again, just like with the neck muscles. In the thoracic region, we can make a square movement. We move back, then to the side, then forward, and then to the other side. We repeat this pattern, back to the side, forward, and to the other side, by gently rounding off the corners of these movements. Instead of making sharp turns, we gradually create a smooth circular motion. By the way, this is a great option for dancing. 3 to 5 repetitions will be quite enough. Don't expect instant results. Just because you do this exercise once today, it doesn't mean you'll be able to move easily and effortlessly right away. It's possible you've never made such movements before. Your brain hasn't either. It takes time to learn. Don't rush, that's absolutely normal. Next, we can start making these exercises more challenging. And as you remember, we went over the lunge matrix together. We now have a sort of toolkit where we can combine the lower body and the upper body, endlessly mixing and creating exercises that will be especially useful both for everyday life and for sports. For certain games, for sports, and for physical activity. I'll give you the direction, and from there you'll be able to do them on your own, making progress. So, we've learned how to move in the thoracic spine. Circular movements gradually. Next, we can first of all perform these same movements in positions of turns and rotation. For example, I turn my thoracic spine to the left. And do the same thing, first forward and backward. This is already more difficult. Don't forget about your head and exhale through pursed lips. And this is harder, relatively, to neutral. The same thing to the right. I'll show you, okay? By the way, it will be easier with a resistance band. I feel a very pleasant stretch in my spine, a really pleasant sensation in the necessary area. I can also do controlled circular movements in the turn position with control. It's harder for me in this direction. I hear more sound in my body. Don't be alarmed. Some sounds cracking, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean there's any kind of pathology. It's absolutely normal as long as there's no pain. So experiment a little. It's a very simple idea. Our task is to create a predictable environment for our brain. And the first predictable environment for our brain is our own body. When we don't really know how to properly move different parts of our body, in space, in all sorts of different variations, through a wide variety of ranges of motion, and especially when under load, including that, of course, we don't really have control over it. It's like sitting at the cockpit controls of a fighter jet, one you've never truly flown before in your life, or getting behind the wheel of a very fast car that's very hard to handle. It's the same analogy here. Our body is a very serious and complex machine. High-speed machine, a sports car. And our main task is to learn to control this body, to make our body predictable for our nervous system. That's why you can keep progressing endlessly. And in the first week, you can work on simple movements. The second week can already be dedicated to mobilizing the thoracic spine with rotations. The third week can be devoted to mobilizing the thoracic spine in different positions of the matrix and lunges. It's also very interesting. Give it a try. A forward lunge at 45 degrees, neutral position. Don't forget about your neck as well. Here, I've sped up a little, but still, it's absolutely essential. A lunge with a twist. A twist to the other side. It's very important in many sports. If you play tennis or other ball games, good mobility is crucial. Once again, it's very important. And for sensations to reduce unpleasant feelings and pain, these exercises will help you get results quickly and reduce discomfort. So keep practicing. Do them. And your posture, your movement system, and your nervous system will definitely thank you for your overall well-being.